pulled her cloak about her and paced the unheated hall almost ill with nerves. Would the brother have her whipped when he heard? Great lords had been known to punish the carriers of bad news. She would have bolted from the house and taken her chances with the evil northern winter, but in her head she could still hear his rasping voice. "Tell my family, Mei Lian. They must know of my death." Though Kyle Renbourne, 10th Viscount Maxwell, had some fondness for her, she didn't doubt that his ghost would haunt her if she failed to perform his last request. Bracing herself, she pulled off her gloves to expose the Celtic knotwork ring that Kyle had given her, since it was the only evidence of her claims. Steps sounded behind her. Then an eerily familiar voice asked, "Lady Maxwell?" She turned and saw that a man and woman had entered the hall. The woman was as petite as a Cantonese, but with a glorious sweep of silvery blonde hair that was striking even in this land of foreign devils. The woman returned Troth's stare, her expression curious as a cat's, but not hostile. The man spoke again. "Lady Maxwell?" Troth tore her gaze from the woman to look at him. Her blood drained away, leaving her chilled to the marrow. It wasn't possible. The man was lean and well-built, with chiselled features and striking blue eyes. Waving brown hair, a hint of cleft in his chin, an air of natural authority. The face of a dead man. It wasn't possible. That was her last dizzy thought before she fainted dead away. Chapter 1. Macau, China, February 1832. Kyle Renbourne, 10th Viscount Maxwell, concealed his impatience as he politely greeted dozens of members of Macau's European community who had gathered to meet an honest-to-God lord. Then, his social duty done, he slipped outside to the veranda so he could contemplate the last best adventure that would begin the next morning. The sprawling house stood high on one of South China's steep hills. Below, a scattering of lights defined the sweep of Macau around the eastern harbour. An exotic little city at the southeastern corner of the Pearl River estuary, Macau had been founded by the Portuguese, the only European power to find favour with the Chinese. For almost 3 centuries, the enclave had been home to merchants and missionaries, and a rare mixing of races. Kyle had enjoyed his visit. But Macau wasn't really China, and he was eager to be on his way to Canton. He leaned against the railing, enjoying the cool breeze on his face. Perhaps it was his imagination, but the wind seemed scented with unknown spices and ancient mysteries beckoning him to the land he'd dreamed of since he was a boy. His host, friend, and partner, Gavin Elliot, came through the shuttered doors. "You look like a child on Christmas Eve, ready to burst with anticipation. You couldn't afford to be casual about sailing to Canton tomorrow. You've been doing it for 15 years. This is my first visit." Kyle hesitated before adding, "And probably my last. So you're going back to England. You'll be missed." "It's time." Kyle thought of the years he'd spent in travel, moving ever eastward. He'd seen the great mosque of Damascus and walked the hills where Jesus had preached. He'd explored India from the brilliantly coloured south to the wild, lonely mountains of the northwest. Along the way, he'd had his share of adventures and survived disasters that might have left his younger brother heir to the family earldom. And wouldn't Dominic have hated that? He'd also lost the angry edge that had marked him when he was younger, and about time, since he'd be 35 at his next birthday. "My father's health has been failing. I don't want to risk returning too late." "Ah, sorry to hear that." Gavin pulled out a cigar and struck a light. "When Wrexham is gone, you'll be too busy as an earl to roam the far corners of the globe. The world is a smaller place than it used to be. Ships are faster, and the unknown is being mapped and explored. I've been saving China for last. After this visit, I'll be ready to go home." "Why is China last?" Kyle thought back to the day he'd discovered China. "When I was 14, I wandered into a curio shop in London and found a folio of Chinese drawings.